Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I'm coming at you with podcast number 10. Guys, now what I'm thinking about doing here lately is to try and shorten the podcast to several podcasts throughout the week, or maybe just keep the podcast and do mostly reviews of what I've already covered during the week and do little like 5-minute news clips every day during the week instead. A little feedback, it would really be appreciated. In the meantime, Simon Kinberg, all right, getting right into the news, seems to be the big talk of the day, and thus the beginning of our segment. Now, several things. He had a conversation with some of the people at Collider, all right? Collider they're on YouTube, good stuff. They moved over from the AMC Movie Talk, and now they're doing their own thing. They pretty much just turned from red to green. That's it. Anyway, he talked about Gambit, several things, but he talked about Gambit as one of the things. Now, apparently, what they're trying to do is they're trying to start shooting by around next year and hopefully getting production started by the summer this year. Either way, they're saying that this really is a project that they're hoping to move forward on, and they're not the only ones looking to move forward with this, but more specifically, Channing Tatum, yes, is apparently still devoted to this. Now, you don't hear a lot about it. There's all sorts of works going around. I know that Fox has a lot going on their plate right now, specifically with the X-Men franchise and whatnot, so it's crazy. In the meantime, Channing is apparently still interested in doing this, and he's got the same kind of excitement and enthusiasm, this is quoting, that Ryan Reynolds has for Deadpool. So they're hoping to move forward with this in a really big way. They're hoping that this actually eventually becomes a huge franchise for them. Just as Deadpool is apparently going to be a franchise, they're going to be doing the New Mutants, they're going to be doing the X-Force pretty soon, and of course they've got the X-Men and Wolverine, which seems to be kind of on the side. But we're going to talk more about that in my theories on what's going on with Laura Kinney, X-23 in Logan, coming out next week, and the X-Force itself. I'll tell you right now, my theory is that Cable is going to show up at the end and bring her through time to bring her back towards the time when the New Mutants, the X-Men, the X-Force, all that good stuff. That's just my opinion. Anyway, we'll see how that works. Now, in further news, Kinberg was asked about the new X-Men. Now, he basically can wrap this up in 2 words. Not sure. He's not sure. He's not sure about anything going on with the new X-Men movie that's supposed to be coming out. Now, the idea here is that he doesn't know, he's not sure if he's going to be directing it. If he were directing it, he's not totally sure what he'd be doing with it. Should he continue on with the whole Dark Phoenix saga that they seem to have been going for? Well, it kind of seems like they should, right? Because that's what they set up. At the same time, he's terrified that that could turn out into another X-Men The Last Stand. Well, Mr. Kinberg, if I may, do not be so worried, because when push comes to shove, every single one of us are terrified that any of the next X franchise movies that Fox is putting out could wind up becoming the next X-Men The Last Stand or one of the first 2 Wolverine movies. God forbid X-Men Origins Wolverine, but even the Wolverine, man, like, seriously? I'm going to heat up adamantium, I'll cut off your adamantium. Come on. Come on. So, yeah, I can assure you, we're all worried about stuff like that. Moving on. It seems as though he's not even sure if he should continue with the Mr. Sinister idea. Now, listen, come on. If you're going to be doing anything, you should absolutely have Mr. Sinister in there. My recommendation, personally, would be going right in with the whole Inferno plot. Now, maybe not necessarily with the talking lampposts and the talking mailboxes and whatnot, but absolutely, because then you can have the whole Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor idea. You have the whole cloning and the perfect thing. Now that whole storyline could lead into the creation of Cable, and then moving forward into the New Mutants, aka the X-Force. I know they're supposed to be 2 separate franchises, but who knows what they're doing anymore. Have them appear on Legion, why not? The idea is that they're not sure what's going on. They don't know what's coming up next. I say go balls to the wall and make the movie called Sinister Intent and just go straight at it. Speaking of the X-Force, apparently he doesn't know who's directing that either. There's been so many rumors going on that maybe he'd be sneaking in there. Maybe it would actually be Joe Carnahan, who apparently has already been co-writing the script with Ryan Reynolds. So who knows what they're going to do with that. Also, James Mangold is apparently up there. Now, I mean, I get it. He just got finished doing Logan, and you get people who are even today working for Marvel, and they're all claiming that this is the best X feature, the best superhero movie that Fox has put out. That's not really saying too much, but that is a lot, and I believe it. I absolutely believe it. If they're putting forth the kind of effort in this, and these people are saying it, I believe it. I really do. On top of that, director James Mangold says that there's going to be a lot of extras in the Logan Blu-ray. See what I did there? Finally, he was asked about the Fantastic Four, or as we know them as the Four-Stastic. So he was asked about this, and he said once again, I'm not sure. This was like the worst interview ever. I mean, a lot came out of it, but I don't exactly know why. What was the press release? He's not sure. Thanks, Simon. Anyway, so he's not sure what's going to go on with the Fantastic Four. There was supposed to be not a reboot, but another movie coming out, a sequel to Fanforstic, like Fanforstic 2. How many numbers are you going to stick in this title? Either way, apparently it's not going to happen now, or maybe it will happen. They don't know. But right now, everything's on the hush-hush and just out there that nobody's really even thinking about anything with it, because if they're not going to do it right, they're not going to do it at all, is what they're indicating. Now, personally, I don't believe that. I believe that Fox is still just about as bitter gets. I mean, who's to say they're not going to make another Roger Corman version of the movie, just simply so they can keep the rights again for another 5-7 years, whatever it is. Either way, look, if they actually are in good talks with Marvel, which it kind of seems like they might be. Marvel has been giving. They did a fair trade with the powers of Negasonic Teenage Warhead and handing over Ego the Living Planet to Marvel. They did a nice little fair trade there. And then we have the idea that those 4 comic books that were being held up by Logan in the Logan trailer, that those were actually directly handmade by Joe Quesada, for the sake of, here you go, kind of like a little olive branch. Hey, be cool. So hopefully they're working with each other. I mean, just the idea that TV series are being produced now, and they did not have the rights to the TV series for a long time. They only had movie rights. So the idea they got TV rights now to the X-Men, this is saying something. This is really saying something. All of a sudden, we're going to see another, X-Men cartoon coming out, plus with the Resurrection series coming out pretty soon. We're just a couple months away, right after all this Inhumans versus X-Men stuff is over, right around the time that Secret Empire, where the big secret that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is actually a Hydra agent, comes out. All of a sudden, we're going to have, 6, 8 new X-Men titles? I mean, they're going to be all over the place. And an X-Men Blue, I think it is. That's the one with the original X-Men team. Apparently, these guys are going to wind up having a Wolverine clone or the actual Wolverine back in time. In the comics as it is, the old man Logan character is already saying, I need to get back to the wasteland. I can't be sticking around here anymore. I actually have to get back, and I have to find that baby Hulk and all this crazy stuff. And yeah, hopefully they do. In the meantime, what's happening is that the real Wolverine is slated to return. Now, could it also have something to do with this crazy pick that Axel Alonso, the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, has put out, this Hulk-Wolverine hybrid? I mean, look at this. This is disgusting. Who wants to see this? I mean, we've already technically had something like this going on in the current Ghost Rider run that's actually out right now, doing reviews for it and everything, where this little tiny gremlin-looking thing turns into this big, gigantic Pokemon thing by drinking the blood of whoever it tastes, and it took some of the totally awesome Hulk and a little bit of the Laura Kinney Wolverine, and now it heals with adamantium and kills and is super strong and invulnerable, and it's just all sorts of crazy things. What we don't want to see, though, is another Fanforstic movie. I do believe that it's time that they simply handed these rights over. And if they don't want to hand the rights over, that's perfectly fine. Sell the rights. Why not? I do believe they offered to sell it before, because Marvel was saying, we'll buy them back from you so you won't lose any money. You'll actually make some money off of it. And I think that they try to do like a $4 or $8 billion deal or something like that, because Fox hates Disney. It's not that they hate Marvel, it's that they hate Disney, and Disney doesn't really like Fox. I mean, what are you going to do? But either way, it's just one of those really weird situations where they had an extremely exorbitant price. Well, you know what? Whatever, man. Because Fox, let's just face it, guys, Marvel doesn't need your characters, okay? The Fantastic Four have been relevant since they had a comic, since long before they had a comic. Not before they had a comic, but just the idea that before they canceled the comic, all right? They don't need the Fantastic Four. It'd be nice if, Marvel had Doctor Doom. It'd be great if they had Galactus and the Silver Surfer. It'd be cool if they had a whole bunch of different characters. But I think they're doing just fine without. Yes? So it doesn't really matter. You want to keep them? Keep them. Keep on messing up. Keep on losing money. It's all cool, baby. Otherwise, why don't you consider actually selling the characters back? Doing something cool like that. Because we already see with Spider-Man, it works. It works well. Anyway, I digress. Moving away from Simon Kinberg news, we finally have Cress Williams has been cast as the lead role for Black Lightning on CW. Now, this could be cool, man, because he used to be in Prison Break, and remember what a toughie he was there, right? Well, he was also on Heart of Dixie most recently, but he's free. He's free now to do what he needs, and to have this lead role, this could actually do something. CW, it's like this is the superhero channel. Personally, sorry, I actually like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. better than all the other superhero TV shows that are out right now. I get it. It wasn't really that good when you stopped watching it, and I understand. But currently, it is primo. It is top notch. It is really good. But it's kind of like what Arrow used to be. You remember that back in the day? Anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, I'm looking to crossovers galore. Guys, moving on. Matt Reeves is set to direct the Batman again. Yes, again. He was in it, and they pretty much all but confirmed it, and then he backed out, and now he's back in. But it's apparently confirmed this time. Confirmed. Guys, I have no idea what's going on with this. I don't think anybody else really does either. But if he's actually signed and locked in to do this, cool, man. Then until he pulls out again, he's the man for it, right? You can always break a contract. I mean, let's just be realistic here. But also, I was worried that Ben Affleck wasn't going to continue with this, and it turns out that he will. So that actually makes me really happy. And he actually put out this really cool little tweet thing with this picture to show that he's there and to welcome Matt Reeves. So that's good to know that he's happy with that. In similar Batman news, Chris Mackie is set, apparently rumored, to direct a Nightwing movie. That's right, Dick Grayson, the original Robin, as Nightwing. So I would love to see the flashbacks and all that stuff. Now, Chris Mackie is the guy who did the Batman Lego movie, which, just because it's Batman, I mean, that's like saying that Burt Ward and Adam West are going to star in the new Batman movie. I mean, it doesn't really mean anything positive. So that's great. I think that people are more happy the idea that a Nightwing movie will be made as opposed to who's directing it and whatnot, because I don't know, man. You got a pure comedy with little Lego figures, and this guy's supposed to direct a live-action Nightwing movie. I'm sorry, but WB doesn't exactly have the best record already for making an in-continuity universe thing. Maybe they should just go on their own and say, you know what, forget about continuity. Nightwing's just going to be his own thing. Why not do like the X-Men do and simply make different continuities, right? You got the X-Men, who apparently aren't going to really be influenced by the Fantastic Four and all this and that and the other thing, but maybe if they simply did it so that, hey, there's a Justice League continuity, and over here, they've already said that Shazam and Black Adam are apparently not going to be in that continuity. It'll be a different one. Well, then, heck, why not just go all sorts of crazy and make a Teen Titans continuity where Nightwing is there, and then you start introducing more people and all that good stuff. See, the big problem is that WB is a huge, huge studio, all right? And they make movies like crazy. And when push comes to shove, and this has been quoted before, WB doesn't need DC Comics movies. They don't. Okay, Marvel Studios is the Marvel Studio characters, the Marvel Comics characters. So they have to put their all into these movies. That's all they've got. That's their name. That is who they are. But the WB has lots of different properties all over the place, and they just don't need the DC superheroes. So if the movie doesn't do well, if they lock themselves into a director who apparently has made good movies before, and he should be able to make good movies now, and hey, he listens to us, they're cool with that, because the box office is showing that they're making the money from people going back over and over again to see it. But it's also showing that people are, it's mostly repeat views as opposed to new views. A lot of people just aren't interested in seeing something like this, and that's sad because they have to get their act together in order to make a better movie. There's too many critics on other sides. Look, every single movie is going to have the naysayers and the yaysayers, but when you have a huge bulk of naysayers and a relatively small group of yaysayers, I'd really like to see a Nightwing movie too. My point is, I don't want to see a garbage Nightwing movie made. I don't want to see a Nightwing movie made that's going to be all laughs. I mean, he's a lot lighter toned than Batman, absolutely. When he was Batman, he was the Batman who smiled. Two-Face noticed that right away. Hey, he's smiling. That's not really Batman. So, yes, absolutely. You can have a much lighter version of Batman, in a sense, by doing a Nightwing movie, but it shouldn't be anywhere near all jokes and giggles and whatnot. He is a very serious character. It's just he seems lighter when he's next to Batman, but he's not necessarily a light character. So I don't want to see a comedy made because, yeah, it'll be a laughing stock. So you got a chance to do this character for the first time on the big screen. Please do it right. That's my opinion. Guys, Charles Dance and Julian Glover, what do they have in common? Game of Thrones, of course, absolutely. But also the Saudi Arabian Comiccon, first ever inaugural, guys. This is actually pretty big news. By the way, Doctor Strange's Mads Mikkelsen was there too. I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved to have seen this whole Comic-Con. Now, make no mistake, this is the very first time, and I know a lot of people have some bad things to say about Saudi Arabia. Stop for a minute. Professor Bill was in Saudi Arabia for approximately 5 years, on and off for the most part, but a good 5 years of my life was spent in Saudi Arabia. I was a teacher over there. I taught third grade, and I taught vocational school, and I taught a university over there. So very wide range there. On top of that, I also did business over there. So, and it was actually just a business combining a Canadian business with a Saudi Arabian business and introducing them to the fiber optics aspect of technology and moving them forward with a joint venture. But the point is that Professor Bill has been there, and I've been on the West Coast, the Central, East Coast, Southern Mountain area. I've been all over Saudi Arabia, been all over the Middle East, but I actually did concentrate a lot of my time in Saudi Arabia. And I loved it. As weird as it may sound, because of all the things that you hear from Oprah and whomever else, yeah, I was actually there, and I really did love it. It was great. I mean, it wasn't like a wild time. There were no movie theaters there. That's weird, right? Except in the Saudi Aramco area. It's a very blocked off, walled community type place for the American workers there, and they're workers from all over the place. But yeah, they apparently have a movie theater, but there are no movie theaters there. Right? It's going to be very hard to find things like that. And yes, everything is separated by gender. You'll have a men's entrance and you'll have a family entrance. So men with families can go in there, or just women by themselves can go in there, women with their kids, whatever. They try to keep a separation of genders there. Whatever. There's good, there's bad, there's just different. All right. And the idea is that they actually had this Comic-Con, the first of its kind there, and it was apparently a pretty big success. Now, you get to see the picture, and yes, that's actually in a tent. I'm surprised it was in a tent. I mean, wow, really? I'm sure it was air-conditioned like crazy, but in a tent? Wow. No, they've got huge buildings over there. Skyscrapers. It's, in many ways, like places like Riyadh are actually more beautiful than New York City because it's a brand new infrastructure. And it's amazing. It's gorgeous. I wouldn't lie to you. So seeing that they've got a Comic-Con there, I mean, Dubai in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, they've had a Comic-Con going on since 2012. And I never got the chance to go to that. It would have been insanely expensive, and I just don't want to blow my cash there. People go to UAE on their paychecks, or if they're already in there, and keeping up with the Joneses is they'll go broke in a heartbeat. In Saudi, you can save your money a whole lot more because there's not so many entertainment value pieces there. There are a couple of museums. There's a amusement park in every single mall that's out there, and just it is a lot of fun if you know what you're doing. I've gone sailing out there. I've gone fishing out in Saudi Arabia on both coasts. Caught some good fish, went swimming, aquariums and everything. really good, fun stuff. Chuck E. Cheese in Saudi Arabia is better than any Chuck E. Cheese I've ever been to. Quote. All right? But this is something that I'm sad that I actually missed, genuinely. Last year was the last year, most recent year, whatever, that I was in Saudi Arabia, and now I missed this. So I unfortunately I missed both times that WWE went there. I was in Jeddah when they went the first time, and they went to Riyadh, and then the next year when they went to Jeddah, they went to Jeddah instead. I was in Riyadh at that time, and it's like, oh come on! It's like they were purposely trying to play keep away or something like that, you know? Come on. So whatever. I missed WWE when they were there, and now I'm missing this. And apparently, we're not going back to Saudi Arabia anymore because we want to stay and make roots instead of taking the easy money working over there. But as a little personal on Professor Bell's side, but man, a Comic-Con there is great. First off, introducing the world to more parts of the world, to the superhero genre that we love so much. That means more fans, more openness, more of the same common shared values, right? And as it stands, the director of PR, what's his name, Ibrahim Saeed, all right, has said that they plan on doing more and bigger. So this is apparently going to be an annual thing now in Saudi Arabia. And guys, that's actually a really cool thing. This was just on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of this month. So just a couple of days ago they did this over the weekend. And man, to believe that we actually missed this, that I actually missed going to this, I'm actually genuinely sad about that. Is what it is. But it is a good thing for the whole community. It is a good thing for the world's community, right? This global village that we have, this network of people everywhere, more shared common interests. It's a good thing. Guys, any Neil Gaiman fans out there? Because American Gods was one of my absolute all-time favorite books I've ever read, all right? And the idea that Neil Gaiman now has this premiere date of the 30th of April to have his TV series, American Gods, released on Starz Network. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Time is when it's supposed to be. I'm ecstatic. I don't know what to do with myself. I can't wait to see this. Plus, they've got the poster that just got released this with the premiere date. That's great. They got the buffalo in there. I mean, that's the moral compass for Shadow, right? But you see some of the other pictures that they've already put out. You got to see Mr. Wednesday. You got to see Shadow's fight with the leprechaun. I mean, come on. This is just great. I can't wait to see this. This is going to be one of my favorites. And Starz has had some good stuff. They had Spartacus. They had Black Sails, one of my favorite TV shows. I mean, they've got so much. And now they're going to have American Gods. And guys, I want to give you a couple examples if you don't mind. We've got playing Shadow Moon, Ridley Whittle. Playing Mr. Wednesday, Ian McShane. Playing Mr. Nancy, Orlando Jones. I mean, obviously Mr. Nancy has to be in here. It doesn't have to be. But yeah, he kind of has to be. He has to be. And we know, if you read the book, you know exactly who he is. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I'm going to say just Nancy the Spider. If you haven't read this book, guys, you are doing yourselves a tremendous disservice by not just going out and purchasing this book today. Today. It really is. I mean, if you're watching this podcast, you like the geeky, you like the nerdy, you like the comic book sort of things. I'm telling you right now, I'm imploring you, go out and get this book. You will not regret it. All right? And the idea that Mr. Nancy is in this, though, indicates that we could have the Anansi boys right afterwards. Maybe. So that could be like season 2. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Neil Gaiman will get around to writing a sequel, and then we can have another book like this. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to see this coming out. Oh, and for the sake of conversation, Gillian Anderson, all right, has signed up so that she could play. It's probably just going to be in one lousy episode. She's going to play Media, right? Like, I am so excited for this cast. I'm so excited for this TV show. This looks like it's going to be a serious hit. Sleeper hit, nothing. This is going to be a flat-out explosive hit, and it's going to introduce so many people to this incredible book. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Guys, how many times have you ever read a Batman comic book and thought, Batman's a pretty tough guy, but how would he do against Elmer Fudd? Probably never. Unfortunately, you're going to get that. Yes, I said unfortunately. Like, maybe it's going to be funny. I don't know. I really don't know what to think right now, but Tom King apparently just released that there's going to be a crossover with Batman and Elmer Fudd. They're both WB things, and look, if a month ago you would have heard that the Power Rangers and the Justice League were going to cross over, you wouldn't believe that. And meanwhile, issue 3 comes out next week. So, I mean, come on. There's all sorts of crazy things going on right now. We got Planet of the Apes and Green Lantern about to cross over pretty soon. Green Lantern and Star Trek. Green Lantern and Star Trek. Guys, to me, this is like the craziest thing I've heard. And maybe it's just a big April Fool's Day prank coming out. I don't know. I really don't. But you're actually going to have this crossover. And there's apparently going to be a couple other crossovers too. And one of them is supposed to be Lobo and the Roadrunner. That actually sounds a little fun. It does. I have to admit. Jonah Hex apparently is supposed to team up with Yosemite Sam. They're gonna hunt a rabbit? I don't know. But the one that I am actually kind of looking forward to, Martian Manhunter meets Marvin the Martian. That's right. I said it. On Comic Book University, I said it. This is apparently supposed to really happen. I don't even know what to say about this. This is just beyond me. All right, guys, that's the news. Stay tuned for Comic Book University. We're going to have the comic book science segment. Well, hey, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and we're going to talk about our comic book science segment of the day. And the subject of today is going to be Wolverine, and more specifically, how can we kill him? All right, scientifically, how can we actually kill Wolverine? Well, Deadpool has speculated that you kill him by destroying his popularity because that's his main superpower. And yeah, that makes sense. It really does. But at the same time, scientifically, how would you kill Wolverine? Well, maybe not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, they say that you could drown him, but we've seen in the Ultimate Universe that doesn't necessarily work. Plus, the way that the Hulk's healing factor works is he actually develops lungs, gills, that function so that he could breathe water. I know, it's the weirdest thing, but it's not just one comic it's happened in. It's a couple comics that's happened in. So, not saying that Wolverine could necessarily, make gills, but yeah, would he die by being put underwater? No, as soon as you brought him out, he would probably heal up, heal from drowning, get better, and then move on. But when you think about it, how can you kill Wolverine? Well, the answer might actually be easier than it sounds. Instead of stabbing and knives and guns and laser cannons and blowing them up and doohickeys like that, just don't feed him. Seriously, kind of like a gremlin, don't feed him after midnight. No, more specifically, don't even just mogwai him. Actually, don't feed him. If he doesn't eat, well, then he's going to have zero energy. He won't have anything to actually keep that healing factor working. Just like you can't keep your body active, you can't even keep your brain active if you don't have carbs coming into your body. Well, how can he possibly heal? So eventually, the idea is that if he's not eating, if there's no sustenance going inside of him, he would die. Not really that ecstatic, exciting, is it? I know. Sorry, guys, it's kind of boring. You're probably expecting something spectacular, right? Like laser beams from space or something. No, that's simple. Anyways, guys, back to the other Professor Bill. All right, guys, that's all that we have time for today. Guys, don't forget to check us out on SoundCloud. We got the podcast over there also. And we're going to try and do a couple other formats. Maybe one of these days I'll actually get onto iTunes. We'll see. In the meantime, please give me your comments below. Do you think that Comic Book University should do some little 5 to 6 minute or so newsreel during the week, like maybe even 5 days a week, just to get a little catch up on all the comic book news to keep you guys informed, all right, and all the things major comic book movies, comic book related, all right, anything to that effect. Give me a heads up. Do you think that's something that you'd actually like to see? Should I actually give it a try? Because it will be a bit of work. So You commit and I'll commit, all right? Anyway, there's not a non-committal relationship. Guys, again, see if, would it hurt? Put down a like, maybe a little share, subscribe if you're not subscribed. For crying out loud, at least do that. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.